Hello, one and all. My name is Ryan Bruce. My friends call me Fluff, and today we are going to compare both of my signature amp sim plugins. So last month I released, in conjunction with ML Sound Lab, I released my second amp sim, which is called the Fluff 2C amp sim. And it's an amalgamation of a couple of my favorite amplifiers from Mesa Boogie's Mark series. And I thought it would be a good time to go over the differences and kind of compare this to my previous amp sim plugin, Amped Roots, which is a couple of different amplifiers under one hood. Now, this is not a sponsored video. However, I should let you know that for the month of November, all the plugins are 50% off, and you can get either one of my signature amp sim plugins for, I think it's 30 euros, which is really, really cheap. 50% off, link down below in the description. So I have a session here that I just did for the Soldano SLO pedal, and this is my band Dragged Under's song called The Hardest Drug. Now, I have two instances of Roots going, and then I also have, it's currently off, two instances of the Fluff 2C plugin. I have these each dialed for their ideal sound as I would mix them for this song. We're going to start with the Roots plugin. I chose Freeman because it has more mid-range growl. It's much more mid-rangey than the other amps, which we will get to in just a second. But I wanted to do a quick A/B, and then we're gonna go into the plugins themselves and kind of poke around a bit. But first, here is Amped Roots in the context of a mix. Sounds good. I really like how that sits in the context of the mix. Now I'm going to turn this off, and we are going to turn on Fluff 2C. I will again scroll through the various speaker cab settings and the pedal board settings while you listen to the track. Both of these, each side, are the same. And yeah, Fluff 2C. Okay, that is Amped 2C. Now I'm going to open up another instance of Roots to kind of poke around a little bit. I'm going to make this big. And this is Amped Roots. This was recently updated with version 2.0 to add a lot in the cab section, added a tuner, lots of bells and whistles and tweaks underneath the hood that greatly improved the sound. And Roots is 4 different amplifiers. There's the 5034, there's the 5151, there's the Freeman, and then there is the Mega Fluff. You can see what they are visually, what amps they are representing. Underneath the hood, it's the standard pedal board that we have for all ML Sound Lab amp sim plugins. The cab section was not like this upon launch 2 years ago when we put this out. Now you have all sorts of mix options. You have, microphone options. You can do all sorts of stuff in the cab section. This is a much more versatile and usable cab section than when this plugin launched. And yeah, 4 different amplifiers. I will note that the 5034 is completely free, not a trial. This amp is free. And if you want to trial the rest of the 3 amps, then you can do that. But if you wanted to download just the 5034, it's totally free forever for you to use. Now let's go into the Fluff 2C plugin. The Fluff 2C plugin is 3 different modes of the same amplifier, whereas Roots is several different amplifiers, but single channels on those amplifiers. This is a multi-channel single amplifier plugin, right? So it's a little bit different. However, you will notice it has lead, shred, and clean, and also a graphic EQ, as the Mesa Mark series amplifiers have. For me, this makes the Fluff 2C way more versatile. When I'm using a particular, guitar or pedal or whatever, I'm able to shape a little bit more and easier, depending on the guitar and the mix situation, than I am the Roots plugin. So this is diving in a little deeper as far as tweakability and EQ. Notice on the settings that I had for the full mix, I had the bass low, but I'm also compensating with the low bass by adding the low end back at the graphic EQ section, which it takes place in the power section, not the preamp section, which is what's different than a standard bass control on an amplifier. But again, we have tuner, we have a pedal board, the standard ML SoundLab pedal board. We also have the same cab section that the Roots was just recently updated with. Again, you can mix between the two. You can move the microphones around and make it sound however you want. And if you want to load your own IRs, you can do that as well. Back to the amp. All right, so Fluff 2C, let's play around with the Roots a little bit more. I'm going to take these extra instances off. We're going to engage the amped Roots, and I'm going to play the mix again. And maybe let's try the 5034. This is going to be, I don't know how this is going to sound. This is probably going to be not cut as much, not going to have the mid-range. However, let's see what we can do with it. Yeah, okay, that sounds fine. I thought I was going to have to do something to it, at least with the volume, but it all sounds pretty good. If I had to tweak something, I guess I would turn the low one down a little bit. That sounds great out of the box. I had to compare it to the Fluff 2C. It's interesting that in the mix, I still prefer the 2C. However, the 5034 sounds so good, just stock settings. I know this is going to sound really scooped because it's a rectifier, but let's try the Mega Fluff in the context of this mix. Pretty good. And finally, the 5151. For me, the Fluff 2C is going to be the winner here. Let's try the Fluff 2C one more time. go. The Fluff 2C, Amped Roots, they're both great. They have different applications for different things. If I was going for maximum versatility, and the one that I have on my travel MacBook when I am on tour, I use the Fluff 2C again, just because if someone wants to track something with a random guitar, I can use the graphic EQ to kind of tweak that on the way in if I want to. So there you go. Those are both of my amp sims. I hope that's helpful to you guys. And again, these are half off. These are 50% off for the month of November. I will link down below in the description if you would like to check them out. And with that, you've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.